For the elite, the word security immediately evokes foreign policy debates. But for working Americans, it's all about economics. I know what economic insecurity feels like. My father left when I was 4, and my mother couldn't support us. She herself had been raised in a stable professional class family back in Hungary, so it must have been humiliating for her to ask for financial help from them after she fled the Iron Curtain for the supposed riches of the West. But she did what she had to do. My early memories are of life in a damp, dark basement apartment, and then another on the top floor of a building with a rusting iron balcony that today would likely be considered a death trap. My mother worked in a shoe store, so I'd always go to a friend's house after school. I envied the warmth and comfort of their middle-class family home. Our situation improved when my mother met my hard-working stepfather, who's still her partner after 40 years. Monogamy certainly contributes to security. As soon as I was allowed to, I wanted to earn money. I signed up with a temporary employment agency in search of odd jobs like washing up in restaurant kitchens. My income wasn't necessary to cover our basic needs, but early on, I learned to associate money with independence and control over your own life. Before Oxford, I spent my gap year working for a construction company up in London. I'd take the train from my hometown of Brighton every morning, along with all the other commuters. I was only 16 years old, but I loved the feeling of going to work. I started out doing odd jobs in the office, but ended up a junior project manager, coordinating work on various construction sites. While I was at university, I'd always worked temporary clerical or manual jobs, whatever I could get, during the breaks. Again, it wasn't to survive. Our family income qualified us for a full grant from the government for living expenses during university. And in those days, the state paid all tuition fees too. I just wanted that extra security. All the way through my 20s, I was constantly worrying about money. I still recall the panic I'd feel at the seemingly eternal bank overdraft, or when my friends and I would approach an ATM and I was unsure if I could withdraw even the minimum offered by the machine. Still, because of the sheer luck that life bestowed on me, a mother who always put me first and did everything in her power to give me the opportunities she never had, and which my cousins, left behind in Hungary, didn't have, a steadfast stepfather, the priceless gift of a world-class education, and, more recently, the hard work and spectacular professional success of my wife, Rachel. Financial security is not something that I worry about today, for myself or my children. But I know this much from personal experience. If you don't have economic security, if you don't know how you'll get through the week financially, if you can't see any way to pay the basic bills, nothing else matters. It takes over your life and becomes a question of survival. That's what life is like today for somewhere between a third and a half of our fellow citizens. Just one single emergency, like an unexpected medical bill or car accident, can pull the rug out from under more and more Americans who've been living paycheck to paycheck, worried about their health insurance, stagnant wages, and their role in an increasingly automated economy. That's why economic security is the number one issue in America today, and the foundational issue of positive populism. It's not a partisan political issue. During the 16 years of George W. Bush and Barack Obama, with various changes of political control in Congress, half of American households saw their incomes go down, with the poorest seeing their incomes go down the most. It made no difference who was in charge politically. The rich got richer, and half the country got poorer. But you can go back even further than the turn of the century. One startling example. The 80% of American workers with production and non-supervisory roles brought home an average weekly wage of $723.67 in 2016, according to the Economic Policy Institute. That's about 2% less than they did in 1972, when the inflation-adjusted average was $738.86. In 44 years, our economy delivered working Americans a 2% pay cut. Surely it's evident that something serious is wrong, something that we can't just ascribe to the failed policies of one side or the other in our political game. Isn't it obvious that American capitalism itself has gone haywire?